Greetings and salutations, Geo Nerds. Today we're going to talk about Yorks Hollow. This is another one in our series of the lost creeks of Brisbane, and there's plenty of them, and this one's well and truly lost, but it's right under your nose. It's the creek that's right under the ICB, runs under the main place at the exhibition grounds there, runs right through the valley, right under the valley pool, and yet no one knows it exists. And it's still there, as you'll see if you watch the video today. So it was a lovely walk, this one. It's about 20 k's, but I really enjoyed it. Right through town, beautiful day. Dropped in and had a coffee with my favourite coffee place, Precision Coffee, there in Victoria Park, and it was just great fun. So anyway, I'll see you on the road, and you know what I'm going to say. Let's rock. Hey Geo Nerds, just firstly I'd like to thank all the new subscribers to the channel. Subscribing really helps in the wild and weird world of YouTube. And if you want to get a ding every time I push out a new video, and I do quite a few of them, smash that little bell. So let's get on with the video. Also, as I learn more about the colonial history of Brisbane, I feel I really need to say this. I begin today by acknowledging the Turrbal people, traditional custodians of the land in which we live today, and I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and acknowledge that they got royally dicked by my ancestors. I take no pride in the knowledge of what was done to these people and recognise their pain. My ancestors came from Northern Ireland, a land not too unfamiliar with land theft, murder and genocide. It just seems a shame we seem to want to do it all again here. Well, Yorks Hollow, is just drawing on the screen here now, is a creek that really is just to the north of Gregory Terrace mainly. It wasn't really a creek though, it was a series of swamps and waterholes, and there was a channel there eventually, but there wasn't enough fall on it to carve a channel, so it was more of a chain of swamps. And its mouth was quite indistinct as well, but as you can see in this video, it was marked on this map, which is from 1865, unlabelled. It's never really been labelled on any map, and if you look at this one from 1895, it's still there, but only just. And after that, she's gone. I've got an aerial photograph here from 1933. There's just no sign of it at all. I'll put the creek up for you. This is where it runs, but it's been just industrialised, so in the early 1900s it just got wiped out. They just filled it in. It is culverted now for stormwater because it falls in the natural low of the land, but yeah, we'll see it on the walk later on. This is a modern view of it, and I'll put the old creek line up as well for you. It runs along the side of the ICB, then it goes underground here. It's all underground here. And then it goes through the valley, all underground, and pops up just as it enters the river. And I'll just put some geology up. We have from the left to right, we've got the old Brisbane Phyllite, Narrenly Fernvale Shale. The green is the Brisbane Tuff, and the light yellow is gravel. And as you can see by the shape of this gravel right here, there's your creek. Right there. That's the Yorks Hollow gravel bed. And I'll switch over to the topo map now, and you can also see the topo map. It's pretty obvious where it goes. There's very little drop on this, probably 10 metres from start to finish, so when it floods, it really floods. And a new graph here, this is a synthetic LiDAR, which I'm now in love with. I think it's fantastic. Anyway, now I've learned how to pinch it off the government website, and I'll draw the creek for you as well here. And as you can see, the LiDAR really shows the old features. We're going to use these maps a lot in the future. They're very useful. And that's it there. So anyway, that's basically the physics of the physics of Yorks Hollow. It's not physics. It's just a few k's out of town, and we'll move on to the very beginning of how we used it. Yorks Hollow. Well, we should start at the very beginning.
A very good place to start.
The colonial history started in the early 1820s. They went over there, they were getting water and resources from the fresh water over there, but also, of course, they were cutting timber, they were digging clay to make bricks, and the result of that was they silted up all of the water holes and made them unsuitable for drinking, and which the local Aboriginal people didn't take too kindly to. But anyway, if we have a look at this next map here, you can actually see, I'll put a line on the Yorks Hollow area, and you see the little train there, the railway line, because that was the original line to Sandgate, because, tunnels were quite expensive, they hadn't dug them yet. This is what Brisbane looked like. Not much, but, it's a pencil drawing of what Brisbane looked like. This is a photograph of Yorks Hollow in the 1930s. That was a rifle range. It finished being a rifle range actually, but it was a rifle range before then. And you can see the railway line running along there on the top and Gregory Terrace in the background. And so anyway, let's get on and have a look and see what the original people did with it. The Aboriginal people in this area were from the Turrbal tribe, the Turrbal people, and the clan that lived here were called the Duke of York clan. Of course, I doubt if they chose that name for themselves, but that's what they were labelled, and that's where it got its name, Yorks Hollow, because that's where these people lived. And they lived over there quite a lot, 800 people at one stage, and it has a pretty bad reputation amongst Aboriginal people because, of course, it's the site of some Aboriginal massacres. In 1846, police constables dispersed the campsite, murdering at least 3, maybe 4, who's counting. And in 1849, a detachment of the 11th Regiment of Foot, soldiers conducted another dispersal, wounding several. Yeah, right. So, it doesn't have it. We just took the land back and either starved them or shot them as usual. Disgraceful piece of Brisbane's history. This, of course, was the place where, when the 4 p.m. curfew came along, you had to be out of town, you had to run to here. When they dispersed this camp, they had to run to Breakfast Creek, which is, I don't know if you've walked it, it's a long way. But anyway, that was their use of it. It was for a long time. There is a really nice Aboriginal sculpture down there, and I believe there's some great plans coming to celebrate the Aboriginal people further. They called it Burrumbun, and we're going to see that a little further down because the Valley School has taken its name from that, which is fantastic. Again, if you want to read more about this, I strongly recommend you have a look at my favourite Brisbane elder, Mr. Tom Petrie, and his reminiscings. They're available quite freely, and it is well and truly worth listening. Anyway, let's have a look and see what the Colonials did with it. So this is one of the earliest maps I can find of the north of Brisbane. Yorks Hollow's up there. This is 1858. And even though there was work going on up there, not much. But then the Fortitude arrived. And this was, of course, a real landmark in Brisbane's history. John Langmore's ship came in early January, actually, of 1849. That's recognised as a turning point in Queensland's history. And Yorks Hollow, being on the edge of the township, was put to good use for accommodating these 253 immigrants, and they let them form a temporary village up on the slopes near the grammar school. And they changed the water holes, and they were next to Yorks Hollow. But they were constantly complaining about the noise the Aboriginal people were making, because of course, no one ever said Aboriginal people didn't know how to have a good time. In 1877, the Queensland Rifle Association constructed a rifle range there in the northeast corner of Yorks Hollow. And of course, Yorks Hollow carried the brand new Roma Street to Sandgate railway line. And as you can see on this map, it's not there, but on the next map it is. And I'm going to zoom down to show you something interesting. There is a tunnel, the Normanby Railway Tunnel, followed by the Normanby Station. long forgotten Brisbane station, and yeah, this is what it looked like. Sorry, it's a bit blurry, but it's the only one I could find. This is what Roma Street Station looked like at the time. They were having a bit of a dig, getting some levels in where the roads went under. This is Roma Street Station, a beautiful station. It still is, by the way. This is an interesting photo. This is looking up towards the Norman B Hotel with the grammar school on the right, and where those people are standing is where the tunnel went under. So you can just see St Bridget's up on the hill there, just being built. And here's the tunnel being dug. Well, it might be. It's a tunnel being dug anyway. No talk about York's Hollow would be complete without talking about the Ekka. In 1876, Brisbane's first intercolonial exhibition was held. Then it was just in the main pavilion, 17,000 people attended on the first day, which is pretty cool. There were 22,000 people in Brisbane. Each visitor got a show bag, a bag of coal. How appropriate. Over the road there was a place called the Acclimatisation Society, which we now call Bowen Park. Awesome place. Just thought I'd drop up a picture of the first exhibition hall, made out of wood, and we got an image here of the Governator arriving to open the show. It burnt down. I'm not going to play the clip. And it was replaced with another hall, then replaced with this hall, this amazing, most wonderful thing. And yeah, this is what passed for entertainment then. Ferris wheel, made out of real ferrum. This is a bloke called Daintree. You'll know his name. And he organised these exhibitions. And this was an exhibition he organised in Melbourne. And don't tell me there was only one big pineapple. This is a painting he did of Stuart Home. Awesome guy. More I read about him. And I just can't keep coming back to this building. It is so good. Just a lovely building in black and white or in colour. It just looks absolutely fantastic. Anyway, let's go for a fly. I'll see you in the air. Well, here we are, folks, coming down on the old 7-wheel, doing our usual fire through Brisbane. The nice treasury there. We're just going to go straight down Queen Street today. Why not? Why? Because we can. That's simple. Out over the Story Bridge, and we're going to head down today. We're going to start right down. We're going to go straight over the top of the cannery. There it is, nice red roof of the old cannery building. And we're going to start down here at Newstead. Between these two buildings, this is where the creek came into the river. You'll see it in the walkabout in a bit. We went up this Waterloo Street, down through here. There's James Street up there, Great Brisbane Street. And the creek just turned here, turned to the right and followed the contours up East Street here. And it went straight through the Valley Pool and over. This is a fairly old rendering. And there's the main grounds, went straight through here. Then we turned, we get under this white tent. Right up here, straight up through the park as it is now, right around Gilchrist Avenue here, right through, there's Precision Coffee down there, best coffee in Brisbane, up along the ICB, as you can see, they were still building the ICB in this rendering, up through the what was the golf club, but it isn't anymore, and then we go up through the village, and you can see they've preserved the creek line in the village. It's right through there, you can see it when you're there, across Kelvin Grove Road, up through these little streets, and we're just going to pull back because that's the catchment area right in front of us. So it's not a big creek. Let me tell you, I've walked it. It's a fair way. So you can see that's context, the north side of Brisbane there. And as we pull back here, I'll just put the creek up on the screen so you can see it's a dinky creek, but it's completely destroyed. You have to really look for it. So there we go, along there, around through there, over there, up through the valley and out into the river. There you go. So really, that's it. Let's go for a bit of a walk. Today, folks, we find ourselves down on the beautiful Brisbane River in a gorgeous day. So good I might even be able to use the audio in the camera for once. And what we are, we're down where Waterloo Street would have hit the Brisbane River at Newstead. And just at the moment I want to your attention to those piles up in there and that structure, you can just see under the piles. As usual, when T-Rox comes out to shoot videos, he doesn't look at the tides. And it's nearly high tide, so you're not going to see. But there is a drain in there. You'll have to trust me on that one. What we're going to do is walk the line of York's Hollow Creek. Not even named on maps, but it was here. I'll show you the evidence. Stick with me. We'll have fun today. It's a beautiful day. What we have here is the newly gentrified Tenerife Newstead precinct. We have Newstead terraces north and south here. Really nice looking places. Certainly an improvement on what was here before. Basically an industrial wasteland. And we're just about to walk up onto a little rise here, which is covering the culvert drain, if you like, that they built over the top of the creek. That was already filled in. And if we look at the maps, this structure here follows the original creek line really well. More about that in a minute. Here we are walking up to the entrance to this car park, and first of all you see a beautiful, very nice subway tiled wall there in blue. I like subway tiles, they're cool. But what do you see at the entrance? You see a ramp. You got to drive up and over this ramp, and this has been done very carefully, because I assure you this got full of water. And you have to drive up and over to get in. It's to keep the water out when the flood comes. To a point. Here's the gasworks precinct now. The old gasometer's being preserved, heritage listed, etc., etc. Why not? Although it's probably holding up $100 million worth of property, but what the hell, there's plenty of property around here. It's lovely to see kids playing here in the inner city nowadays. I worked in here down in the valley for many years, and you never saw children, very rarely. Anyway, our little creek ran right here to the left of this, and we're going to follow this through as far as we can. Let's do it. Just walking along East Street here, another one of our beautiful World War II tram shelters being preserved, like the one at Colonial. There's quite a few of them around. The old church there, been there a long time in the background. Church Street. They're obviously running out of names by then. Anyway, there's another one of the tram shelters. There's 3 in a row here, which is really unusual. Good undercover parking for motorcycles, actually. What a great idea. Anyway, we'll continue on. These are the amazing municipal swing baths in the valley. I used to go here when I was a nipper at school for our swimming competitions. And this, I think right here, is where our creek crosses through. We're going to go and have a look down there in a minute. Here's the dedication stone to the Valley Baths. I don't really pay much attention to these because none of the people on here did an ounce of work towards it other than sign bits of paper, so I have no respect for them at all. However, it's a nice piece of granite around the outside, and it's been etched into a nice piece of marble. So there you go. It's always geology when you look hard. But anyway, I don't really know. 1925? Yeah, why not? Right, authorised vehicles only, eh? Oh well, that's me. Over the road there we can see the new amazing Valley School that's been built, and it's built in the playground of the old Valley School that has been here a really long time. And we're just going to look, because right here where I'm standing is where I believe this thing went through. I think it just may be fossilised in the property lines here, like that gap there I think is part of it. But anyway, we'll have a look on the other side in a minute. Here's the old Valley Police Station. Been here for a very long time. I suspect that sandstone trim is actually from Petrie's Quarry. It's old enough for that. Not all the police in Queensland's history have been good people. The Aboriginal people in this area would have been absolutely petrified of this place, because they knew that once they went in, they didn't come out. Because an Aboriginal person's testimony could not be taken in court. Even his plea of innocence, he was presumed guilty unless he could find a white person to say, no, he didn't do it, I seen him. So yeah, that was garbage. And then in the 1970s, I had a personal friend of mine who was picked up off the street one night, walking home from work, in his work clothes, bundled into a car, an unmarked car, by a couple of detectives, taken to this building and had the crap beat out of him with a piece of hose. And then they realised, oops, wrong guy, took him home, dumped him back on the street and told him if he told anyone what had happened, his life wouldn't be worth living. These were our detectives in the 1970s. Fortunately, the Fitzgerald report, Fitzgerald inquiry, sorted a lot of that out. And let me tell you, all the police I've had to deal with in the last 20 years, and I've had a lot to deal with them in some of the jobs I've done, have been absolutely fantastic, first-class blokes. And women, sorry. Old habits die hard. First-class people, and they do a great job. A job that I wouldn't do for all the tea in China. So, good on them. But the history is not good.
T-Rocks from the future here. Over the top, Brisbane Toof, going down into the valley. You can see off to the left there's a dip, and that's where the creek and the swamp came through, right there. We'll see more of that over the exhibition grounds.
There we are, folks, on the corner of St Paul's Terrace and Brook Street. And they've got a little park here with these lovely pieces of sandstone in it. G'day. Really nice pieces of sandstone, which all you viewers who play along at home will know, we don't get this stuff in Brisbane. This is from Hellendown. All of that's from Hellendown. Very expensive actually to bring it all the way down here just to dump it there, so it was left over and it's probably cracked, which it is. But this stuff over here, this is Brisbane Toof. This is the good stuff. This is from here. I don't think it's actually from here. I suspect this is from Windsor. But the tuff over here tends to be quite yellow. That's very pink. But even so, beautiful looking stuff. Once you get that geology eyes, it's hard to get rid of them, it really is. But anyway, you can see there's big holes in all this and there's bits missing. Oh, there's T-Rocks' shadow. Sorry guys, I always do that. Let's start again. Anyway, you can see this is very nicely marked Hellendown sandstone. But it's actually quite it's quite damaged. It's got inclusions through it, nice little inclusion through that one. I would say this has just not made the grade wherever they were going to use it, so they've just dumped it here because they could. I don't know. G'day. I've got a mate of mine who's a sculptor. He'd definitely make something out of that. Actually, he'd definitely make something out of that. I wonder if they're just free, you just come and take them. I don't know. Anyway, onwards and upwards. If they go missing, council, it wasn't me. You guys planning to build that secondary school out at Perrin Park in Toowong? See one of my shorts from a few weeks ago. You might want to take a lesson from the guys in the valley here who understand what flooding is. Look at the trouble they've gone to. This whole school, the playground, is sitting on concrete on stilts because this is low. This area is only about 10 on the 10 metre contour, which is gonna flood. And they got about a 4 metre flood margin there, which is fantastic. I love it. Anyway, just a thought. Here's the entrance to the Fortitude Valley State Secondary College. And what's it called? Barren Bin. Well done, guys, well done. I do appreciate that. Well, there's a spill basin over the road there. We cross the road at the lowest point in the road in its entire length. And what do we see here? A scree field. A scree field that goes under some culverts. This is Yorks Hollow Creek, people. First time we've seen any really good evidence of it other than skeletons, but that's real. Let's keep going. It looks like it's going to get better. So folks, when I tell you, be skeptical of landscapes because they get messed with in cities. What we're looking at in front of us is the old road service from Alexandria Street. And as you can see, it climbs up on a nice battered bank over there to those new swanky apartments in King Street. But as you can see, it's also been raised to hell here. So this is the old level down here, and if you look at that, it's level with the creek, and this is Alexandria Regina Street was the creek I identified on the map. We're going to have a walk through it now. This part of the Cross River Rail fabrication here, and you see they diamond sawed through the old tuff blocks. Look how big these things are. So you've got about an 8-inch block on top and 8-inch blocks further down. These people weren't stupid, eh? Rubble in behind that. And behind that there's concrete, and then there's more tuff. That is all good old Brisbane tuff. Lots of it. No need to retain that, boys, it won't go anywhere. Here's the new Cross River Rail Bridge, which is just beautiful. How do we get out of the sun? It's just a beautiful structure. I don't know, maybe there's something about Australian civil engineering. It just looks good. I've been all over the world, looked at a lot of structures, and I'll tell you, our stuff is chunky. I like it. You notice back there, we're in about 10 feet of tuff. It comes down here, it's sloping down, and we can see it because the railway line's level. And they've had to start filling the railway line. The tuff there goes below the ground level. And the railway line stays level because they've obviously filled it in. Because this is where the creek came through. There's a break in the tuff, and it was exploited. And if we look down in these holes here, where they've cut into the natural rock, it's not rock, it's clay and silt, because this is the bottom of the Yorks Hollow Creek, and it goes under the main pavilion, under the main ground, and ends up over there in Alexandra Street. This is a seriously big tent. Wow. Anyway, I'm here not because of the tent. It's this row of drains I'm walking on. This is the creek. We'll follow it. We said we would. Let's do it. Here we are, GeoNerds. We're in beautiful Bowen Park, opposite the Royal Brisbane Hospital, and one of the older parks in Brisbane. Well, it wasn't actually in Brisbane, but yeah, it is now. This was, as I said before, done by the Acclimatisation Society back in the 1860s to check out introduced species and see how well they would acclimatise to the Australian climate. Some more details in the text, but I just want to say this is a beautiful park. It really is, and this is not the bit that the Acclimatisation Society grew all their plants on, because this is up on the ridge and this is all tuff. There's no soil here. It's just good old Brisbane tuff. Where that big white tent is we just walked through before, that's where the Acclimatisation Party grew all of their plants and crops, because that's on beautiful Yorks Hollow river sediment. You know, soil that actually works. Anyway, we'll continue on. Might have a surprise up here for you. We'll see. Here we are under the freeway exit on the ICB in the old valley of the York Creek. And what do we see? Well, look at that. Let's see if we can get down between the bars here for you. And there's the old York Creek, flowing in a tunnel, graffitied to hell, so the kids have been getting in there somewhere. We should find out where that is. I don't think it's here. It would be very skinny to get through these bars. Anyway, we'll have a look at that. More soon.
This is Precision Coffee in Victoria Park. Awesome coffee. If you're down this way,
get a coffee. You will not be disappointed. Well, everybody, here we are back on the track. Just had to stop at T-Rox's favourite coffee place, Precision Coffee, in Victoria Park, right on the shores of the Barrenbin pond behind me here. Got a lovely lady called Raylene who rides push bikes all over Brisbane. Cheerio to you, Raylene. Keep rocking. Anyway, we're about to head up to the source of this whole system and have a good look at it. So here we have the culverted and very much constrained Yorks Hollow Creek, Barrenbin Creek, probably a better name for it, I think. But anyway, you can see it disappears into these culverts up ahead here, and it's pretty well the last you see of it, sort of. We're going to walk up to the source of this today, so such a beautiful day. We'll just punch up into those suburbs as far as we can. So let's keep going. This building here, by the way, is the control centre for the Legacy Tunnel. That thing you can see poking up over the back there is the vent for the Legacy Tunnel, which I think is interesting because the Legacy Tunnel is about 800 metres over there. I'm not sure how that vent connects, but it obviously does. Anyway, more in a bit. Here we are, folks, in the upper reaches of Victoria Park, looking at the creek. That's a nice walkout we built there. See that? Beautiful stonework, lovely stonework, drains, fence, everything, and the stupid gate's locked. Yet, you know, you can walk around there, but this is locked. So the $50,000, $100,000 we spent on this, complete waste of time. I hate it. Just hate bureaucracy when it goes wrong. Anyway, ooh, a secret door. I like secret doors. Oh, T-Rox likes secret doors a lot. Where does this go? Ooh. You know what clip I'm going to play here. But anyway, secret doors are nice. Anyway, that's not why we're here. Here's the creek. Here's our old mate. Yorks Hollow Creek used to flow clear and free up here, but now she's in a concrete culvert, but it's still flowing clear and, well, clearish. It has that sulphur creek smell to it, but that's pretty natural, I think. As you can see by these cages, they expected this to really flood, and it did. They got about half a metre through here. I don't know if it overran, but I think it overran and went down the spill there, which then leached to the other side of the creek. That's a serious structure. There's the back edge of that tennis thing, and there's a drain there, and you can see that little road there. This used to be the Victoria Park Golf Club, so they used to ride their little golf carts around here. It's now no longer a golf club. It's public land, which probably always was, really. I read Jim Sawley's exploits on that. Pretty impressive. I didn't appreciate Jim when he was mayor. Now I've learned a lot more about him. I appreciate him a lot more. And there's your creek. We're going to have a look in there. So guys, this is what Yorks Hollow Creek looks like now. Running nice and clear. There's 3 big tunnels through here and one big tunnel leaving. And this grade over here would take surface spill as well. And of course, because we paved the whole suburb in impermeable pavement, concrete, bitumen, whatever, we still have to have water spill runoffs here. This is also on top of the bed of... Well, you can see the creek bed's being preserved here all the way through Kelvin Grove. We'll walk through here and we'll pick it up where it exits the Kelvin Grove village. Here we are up in the village. A little bit of the creek bed still exposed here. Possibly, hard to say. Been a lot of earthworks going on here. But I suspect this is it because we're right on the line of the creek now, heading through the village to the bus stop. Just on the side of the path here, I thought this was a big pile of construction overburden, but it isn't. It's a massive lump of narrowly Fernvale shale. And a really big piece. It's been smashed through here, so they've cut through it to build these buildings. And I'll bet it was cut through by the creek. That is amazing. That's a big piece of shale. Here we are, folks, on Kelvin Grove Road. And you can see the road's been filled in and whatever, but on the other side of the road where the houses are, and those houses are old, you'll see them on the maps, it's a long way down, and there's the creek bed right there. We're going to walk over there now and have a look. You see it's probably a good 10-15 feet lower than where we are here, but not back in the village. That is the old level down where those pipes were before. So they messed around a little bit, not too much. Here we are, folks, on a little side street called Rusden Street. It runs parallel to Kelvin Grove Road, and we're just in the creek bed here. If you look just down the bottom here, just past this transit van and this little trayside van, that's the low point right there. It runs through the backs of these people's yards. We'll go and have a look at that now. Well, we're going to walk up the street here now to up Rusden Street to get to the headwaters of this little creek. It's not that far away, so we'll have a good look at that. And there's some nice old houses here. There really is. Up here at White Street, Kelvin Grove, looking over to Red Hill. We might actually be in Red Hill. And you can see the complex shape of the streets down here because they're respecting the creek bed. And we're going to go down and have a look at that in a bit. We're nearly at the source. This is as far as this little Yorks Hollow Creek went. Little street coming off White Street here. Again, creek bed is as clear as day up here because, of course, there's a lot more fall and it cuts a more recognisable channel. Although they have built houses over the top of it all, thinking culverting it in was just all you need to do. Well, folks, here we are on the corner of Prospect Terrace and Windsor Road. We're looking down Windsor Road. All the water that falls on the right-hand side of the road falls into the Yorks Hollow catchment area. All the water that falls on the left-hand side of the road falls into the Ithaca Creek, Enoggera Creek, Breakfast Creek catchment. That's as easy as it gets. Just behind these units here is the upper piece of the creek. I see it, my favourite thing to hate, African lily. Big one too. No native bees around here, they'll all be dead. Anyway, get off your soapbox, T-Rocks. I think we've seen enough for today. We are just on the North Pine Fault here, and I suspect this ridge is here because of it. Definitely in the valley there, off to our left, I'm seeing Narrowleaf Vale Shale, and I have witnessed Brisbane Phyllite just on the other side of this ridge here. It's in my videos. So yeah, somewhere here. If I can find a map when I get home, I'll put it up and we'll confirm that. Anyway, that's our walking for today. We've gone walkabout. It's been lovely. About 5 hours, but I loved it. And it wasn't that long, but you got to stop and do videos and things and talk to people and drink coffee, and it takes a while. Anyway, keep rocking. T-Rocks out.
So anyone out there called Ruth that may have asked me something about the history of their place the other day when I was out walking, the reason you might not be able to find it is the street has changed its name. You know which house you live in here, and that is not the name of this that is on the street sign on the corner today. This one's from 1895. And the next map I'm going to show you is from 1897, and it concurs. And one of the reasons you find it hard to find on maps before this time is this was not Brisbane. Brisbane finished at what was then called Boundary Street, which is now called Hale Street, and Kelvin Grove Road wasn't really part of Brisbane. So there you go, mate. It's the best I could do anyway. Have a good day and keep rocking.
T-Rock's out. Hey Geo Nerds, that's your loss for the week again. This is another one of our lost creeks. I like doing these, and it's great to get some comments back from you and hear about. If you've got any questions, if you see me out and about, stop me, ask me questions. I speak English, sort of. Anyway, got something coming up soon. We got the whole massive Inaugural Creek video. I'm still shooting it and I'm still editing it, so we'll get there. Just weather has to cooperate and time. Anyway, out and about, people coming up to me. This bloke came up to me today actually. He said, what's the best thing about Switzerland? I said, I don't know much about it, but their flag's a big plus.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, and hey, you made it this far, please help us to poke the algorithm and smash that like button like it's Space 1999. And if you want to see more, subscribe and share this with, say, 1,000 of your closest friends. And let's see just how far that little algorithm can go before its CPU explodes. Cop you later.